welcome to the class, மக்களே. Please wait for a second until that you can take your textbook. 3 chapters you will be having for your term exam. Maybe I will say what are the portions. What is democracy? Why democracy is chapter 1, chapter 2 constitutional design, and electoral politics will be there. Electoral politics only case based questions will come, and all of those 2 chapters that will be for your final year exam. And the chapter constitutional design says first about the democratic constitution of South Africa. Please wait a second, it's not yet loaded. I have a very bad sore throat and I have a running temperature. It's not coming till now, so I'll take Word and I'll draw it on there. Are you after ask after some time? Okay. Apartheid system എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ racial discrimination on basis of color. It was oppressive to blacks. Then segregation, the separation of classes. എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ they were so ഇവിടെ sorry, I'll just have to complete it. So segregation എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ they were like they couldn't use public toilets, public transport, many things such as the trains, buses, hotels, hospitals, schools, swimming pools, cinema halls, everything was separate, and the toilets were even separate for whites and blacks. There was such a kind of discrimination. It meant nothing but a sort of now the African National Congress ANC launched a protest against whom? Whites. Towards a new constitution. Before that, I have to say, you have to learn all the people of the constitution drafting given in the textbook. Like, this is the basic thing. Okay, then the towards a new constitution, which means that as protests and struggle against apartheid had increased, the government realized that they could keep no longer keep the blacks under their rule through repression. The white regime changed its policies, discriminatory laws were repealed, ban on political parties and restrictions on media were lifted. After 28 years of imprisonment, Nelson Mandela walked out of the jail as a free man. Finally, at the midnight of 26 April 1994, the new national flag of the Republic of South Africa was unfurled, marking the newly born democracy in the world. The apartheid government came to an end, paving way for the formation of a multiracial government. How did this came about? Let us hear Mandela, the first president of this new South Africa, on his extraordinary transition. After the emergence of the new democratic South Africa, black leaders appealed to fellow blacks to forgive the whites for the atrocities they had committed while in power. They said, let us build a new South Africa based on equality of all races and men and women on democratic values, social justice and human rights. The party that ruled throughout the operation and brutal killings in the party had led the freedom struggle sat together to draw up a common constitution. Sorry. Okay. After 2 years of discussion and debate, that came out with one of the finest constitution, one of the finest constitutions in the world, gave its citizens its most extensive rights available in country. Together, they decided that in search for a solution to the problems, nobody should be excluded, no one should be treated as demon. They agreed that everybody should become a part of the solution. Whatever they might have done or represented in the past, the preamble of the South African Constitution sums up its spirit. The South African Constitution inspires Democrats all over the world. So, who has the finest constitution? SA, South Africa. A state denounced by the entire world till 1994 as the most undemocratic one, is now seen as the model of democracy. What made this change possible was the determination of the people of South Africa to work together to transform bitter experience into the binding glue of the Rainbow Nation. Speaking me on the South African Constitution, Mandela said, "The Constitution of Africa speaks of both past and future. One on the hand, its solemn pact in which we as South African declare to one another that we shall never permit a repetition of our racist, brutal and repressive past." So that is what the chapter means. Then we have, why do we need a constitution? The South African example is a good way to understand why we need a constitution and what to do. Constitutions do. The oppressor and the oppressed in this new democracy were planning to live together as equals. It is not going to be easy for them to trust each other. They had their fears. They wanted to safeguard their interests. The black majority was keen to ensure that the democratic principle of majority rule was not compromised. Majority rule of a democratic constitution or a democratic principle. They wanted substantial social and economic rights. The white minority was keen to protect its privileges and property. After long negotiations, both parties agreed to a compromise. The whites agreed to the principle of majority rule and that of one person, one vote. Basic rights for the poor and the workers. The blacks agreed that the majority rule would not be absolute. They agreed that the majority would not take away the property of the white minority. Even if they manage to trust each other, what was the guarantee that the trust will not be broken in future? The only way to build a maintain trust in such situation is to write down some rules of the game that everybody would abide by. The rules lay down how the rulers are chosen in the future. These rules also determine what the elected governments are empowered to do and what they cannot do. Finally, these rules decide the rights of the citizen. These rules will work only if the winner cannot change them very easily. This is what the South Africans did. They also agreed that these rules will be supreme, that no government will be able to ignore these. The basic set of rules are known as the constitution. Constitution making is not unique to South Africa. Every country has diverse group of people. Their relationship may not be as bad as that between the whites and blacks in South Africa, but all over the world, people have differences of opinion and interests. Whether democratic or not, most of the countries in the world need to have the basic rules. This applies not just to governance. Any association needs to have its constitution. It would be a club in your area, a cooperative society, or a political party. They all need a constitution. Why do we need a constitution? First point you can write: generates a degree of trust for all people to live together. Decision making. Rights of citizen. Aspirations of creating a good society. 4 points, 4 marks question. Generates a degree of trust for all people to live together. Decision making and power. How government will constitute and rights of citizen. Aspiration of creating a good society. Sri Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, born Gujarat, Minister of Home, Information and Broadcasting and Interning, government lawyer and the leader of Baradoli Peasant Satyagraha, played a decisive role in integration of Indian princely states. Abdul Kalam Azad, born Saudi Arabia, educationist, author and theologian, scholar of Arabic, Congress leader, active in the national movement, opposed Muslim separatist politics. T.T. Karamchari, finance minister, drafting committee. Rajendra Prasad, president of the Constituent Assembly. Jaipal Singh, captain of the first national hockey team. H.C. Mukherjee, member of All India Christian Council and Bengal legislature. G. Durga Bai, born Andhra Pradesh, advocate, founder chairperson of Central World Social Welfare Board, defense minister in the Union Cabinet, minister in the Union Cabinet, Kanhiyalal Maniklal Munshi, B.R. Ambedkar, chairman of the drafting committee, social, revolutionary thinker. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee, West Bengal, born in West Bengal, founder president of Bharatiya Janasangh. Jawaharlal Nehru, Sarojini Naidu, Somnath Lahiri, we all know them. Sarojini Naidu was governor of Uttar Pradesh, and Somnath Lahiri was the member of the West Bengal Legislative Assembly. Then what I'm saying is now the second, then mainly by the members of the existing provincial legislature that we mentioned above, this will ensure a fair geographical share of members from all the regions of the country. The assembly was dominated by the Indian National Congress, the party that led India's freedom struggle. But the Congress itself included a variety of political groups and opinions. The assembly had many members who did not agree with the Congress in social terms too. The assembly represented members from different language groups, castes, classes, religions, and occupations. Even if the Constituent Assembly was elected by the universal adult franchise, its composition would not have been very different. Finally, the manner in which the Constituent Assembly worked gives the scarcity of the Constitution. Constituent Assembly worked in a systematic, open, and a sensual manner. First, First, some basic principles were decided and agreed upon. The drafting committee, chaired by the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, prepared a draft constitution for discussion. More than 2,000 amendments were considered. The members deliberated for 114 days, spread over 13 years. Every document presented and every word spoken in the Constituent Assembly has been recorded and preserved. These are called Constituent Assembly debates. When printed, these debates are 12 bulky volumes. These debates provide the rationale behind every provision of the Constitution. These are used to interpret the meaning of the Constitution. Some of you may have noticed names missing from the sketches of the makers of the Constitution. He was Mahatma Gandhi. He was not a member of the Constituent Assembly, yet there were many members who followed his vision. Years ago, writing in the magazine Young India, he had spelt out what wanted the Constitution to do. You can read those. The dream of an India that has eliminated inequality was shared by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who played a key role in making the Constitution. How inequalities could be removed. He often bitterly criticized Mahatma Gandhi and his vision. In his concluding speech, the Constituent Assembly, he stated his anxiety very clearly. Finally, let us now turn to Jawaharlal Nehru giving his famous speech on Constituent Assembly in the stroke of midnight on 15th August 1947. You can read that too. Philosophy of the Constitution. That's all for the chapter. You have to read the preamble. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved. I know I know blindly. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, political right, and to secure all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and the integrity of the nation.